I'm out of here, dog. We moving on, dog. So play. So I kind of. This is just an athletic development pathway sheet. Y'all could kind of just look at. You know what I mean? Give y'all something to look at. I guess besides us when we talking about this stuff. Y'all, if y'all ain't listening, but so this is where we go into the parents of pros thing and the development of the athletes, right? We kind of gonna put both of those together and we'll touch on that. So first off, I want to say like all parents, I wish Katie would have came in, Katie Army, because she put a comment on my last video and she kind of gave me this topic to bring up today because I was touching on that and she was saying that there's a lot of Dollar General, LeVar Ball parents out there. And I'm like, I don't think that all parents are like that. You know what I mean? I really don't. And when a parent when a kid plays a sport as a parent, you put a lot of time invested into your child, right? And being a parent, seeing it from a different spectrum, right? From a parent side of view perspective, your child goes into college now to where they're making money off the NIL, millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, however that may be. There are companies that don't care anything about your child, really. They're just looking at the talent that and the money that they could bring in because of their talent and their name, image, and likeness, correct? So you as a parent just want to make sure that your child has the best deals and it's not getting effed over. But there's people out there, professionals, the analysts that get on their podcasts or shows and talk about parents being a problem. Well, I want to be on the other side of that and say that not all parents are like that. Not every dad is a Jaden Rashada dad. Drop a bomb. Like, and that's just what it is. Not every dad is a LeVar Ball dad. Not everybody's like that with their child. Like, you have to be a certain way with it. To me, in my household, academics come first. When my children go to a college, and I pray that they get whatever college it is, it's going to be about academics first, period. Because you can't depend on a sport for the rest of your life. You have to know something else outside of the sport. And I didn't mean myself, no, I didn't go to college. You know what I'm saying? But I know enough to make sure that my children do obtain that and do that. Okay. Now, when I say I didn't go to college, it's kind of a lie, but I mean, I took online. I was the University of Phoenix types. You know what I mean? So do that count? I don't know. Whatever. But now, when you talking about how to do this, you could put this in four things, and I've written this down, right? Four things. You got parental support, the contact with your child, academic engagement, and athletic engagement as a parent. Those are the four areas you want to hit as a parent when you're talking about that. And I think that's where the parents come from with that, right? Parental support, the contact. How often do you stay in contact with them? Academic engagement, making sure they're doing good with their grades and everything, and then the athletic engagement, making sure they're hitting their personal goals on the field, doing as their coaches say, hitting every benchmark that they supposed to hit, right? And encourage them to keep going when they're down. Not a lot of players have that, and you're going to say like, oh yeah, you probably do, right? So I just went ahead and I'm gonna kind of fast forward here because I ain't trying to be here all day. So the parents of athletes are 85% of them are married and educated, right? 68% of mothers and 53% of fathers earned at least a bachelor degree, right? That's just a fun fact. Now I looked this up. Look, so females are reported more contact and less academic engagement than males. Of course, as y'all know, in this whole group right here, right? Freshmen obviously are reported the highest level of support, contact, and academic engagement and from fathers. And I wanted to bring a lot of this up and give a little bit of validity to that because, like I said, not all parents are like that. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure the well-being of your child is good. How are they feeling today? Are you okay? Are you feeling lonely? Are you lonely? Just stupid questions like that. You know what I mean? And however you want to put that, if you want to say it's dumb or not, the risky behaviors, drinking, partying, smoking, whatever that they do in college, that you could cut all that out by just being real with your kid and that athletics satisfaction, right? So athletic, making sure that they're doing, like I said, what they're doing, they do. So then they're hitting all three levels. They're emotional, they're functioning, and now they're able to go into adulthood with everything that you taught your child. So I think that that's pretty dope, man. And they're able to make their own decisions because you're being real with your child, real life experiences. Not everybody has that. You know what I mean? So not every so that just goes to all that say all I said all that to say not every parent is a helicopter parent or wants to be a LeVar Ball type of parent. We are looking at some of these schools that are really academic and that lead with academics. You know what I mean? A Stanford, a Duke, a UNC type of school. Because these are good academic schools, whether you want to say it or not. And then athletics, like there are parents out there that's doing that and developing. So you go ahead and you touch on this some more, bro, and I'll come in and I'll, you know what I mean, clean up.
Oh no, man, you did. I mean, you did. You did a great job. I like the chart. I like how you brought everything together. I do think that some people,
Mm-hmm.
the LeVar Ball situation, I think it caught a lot of people off guard because the perception is that when young men go to that particular level, the imagery is that of them and their mother.
Right.
And most women are not going to be, and I'm not trying to come off as sexist when I say this, but I don't think they would take this out of context.
Mm-hmm.
But most women are kind of somewhat docile in terms of the whole aspect of the sport, because what they have done, if their child has been involved in sports for a long period of time, they've looked at that coach to be somewhat of a guider into some of these decisions in terms of sports, and especially if not they are platonic, right? They're not
Yep.
messing around. Like if coach has their son's best interest in mind, they may say, okay, well, from an athletic standpoint, I'll have the athletics, right? So when they come by to visit, I'll be at the house. I can talk for them, and then when you go for a visit, then you can do the academics and all that stuff, as well. But you have a LeVar Ball pop on the scene, and for the first time, you see a father, and personal story, right?
Yeah.
Well, two personal stories, right? So on my new job, I have a guy. He's training me for the job, right?
Okay.
And so, we don't have much in common. Like the age gap is different. He's a white male, but that's not trying to be racial or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I noticed in some of our conversations, he'll say a few things about him, and then he'll always interject and say something great about his son. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know his son. Haven't met his son. Probably won't ever get to meet his son. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not.
Right.
I don't see us becoming like friends to the point that we are doing that. But
I get it.
it just makes me think like there are fathers out here, and my father, right? I wrote two books, slight plug for myself,
Okay.
and that was one of the things my father would go to his job and tell his coworkers all the time, like how proud of his son that his son did something like that. So LeBron Ball came off as a little, I'm not gonna say arrogant, but I will say this: LeVar Ball that wasn't blatantly shopping any of his, he wasn't shopping Lonzo around at UCLA. He went to UCLA. Now he tried to do a little bit in terms of the NBA. Lamelo. The whole situation about taking him out of the states and putting him over there, kind of like what we were talking about with the Euro
Yeah.
players, right? Trying to get him, prepared for that. But most dads are just they're happy for their son. And
Exactly.
most of them just are not going to have a platform like a LeVar Ball. Don't know, honestly, don't really know how LeVar Ball got the platform, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is kind of the same thing that, Coach Prime is doing. And we're not, talking about Colorado today, but like there are fathers who are
He's
just
doing it at the highest level, though. You're
at
right.
the high, yeah, they're just fathers who are so happy
Mm-hmm.
with their son that they're going to do that. They're trying to make sure that their son is not being shortchanged. And you brought up the Jaden Rashada situation, and I always try to look at things from both sides. Like, yeah, it's messy for your son to commit to Miami, then go to Florida, then end up actually going to Arizona State, winning the starting quarterback job, and now he's over at the University of Georgia, right? So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a messy situation.
It is.
But again, don't necessarily know how involved or what is said behind closed doors because what's not being disclosed to the general public a lot of times is
Mhm.
that some of these coaches they're not who they appear to be
Facts.
when
Facts.
they're talking to you. And
Facts.
sometimes again, not to come off as sexist again, but sometimes men are able to see through that BS and like, look, I'm not gonna allow for my son to be in a situation like this. So we're gonna go. I mean,
Right.
the option is there, but at
Mhm.
the same time, the Jaden Rashada situation, in reality, he only transferred like really just one time. Like the Florida situation, he signed the national letter of intent. The paper, the money wasn't right. So obviously, yeah, you're supposed to go. You lied to me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Probably already burnt the bridge in Miami, so that's no there. Can't go there. You go out to Arizona State, whatever the situation is, however you got out there, and now the University of Georgia, where you may feel like, okay, well, I think Kirby Smart does have my son's best interest in
From the
mind.
jump. From the
Yeah.
jump. You know what I mean? From the jump, I guess Georgia wanted him though, right? Correct. Didn't Georgia want him from the gate?
Uh, I don't necessarily know.
Oh,
I
okay.
think their recruitment, well, again, from
No, I thought it
Miami
was
perspective, that
okay.
recruitment was really down to
Should have
Florida
just stayed at
and
Miami.
Miami.
Miami's one of the
But
Miami's
that's what I'm saying.
University of Miami is not
Florida
only a
lied.
great place to get development at for a player, but it's also a great place to get a good education. That's a home run. If I if that's my kid, I'm like
Yeah.
Miami wants you. The academics check, sports development check, because y'all's known for that. Let's call it what it is. Well, y'all have a history of that. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
do.
yeah, we got it. We got
You
we got a
know.
history of that. Yeah, we got a
Right, y'all
history
have a history of that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm like check box. That checks the boxes for me as a parent. And now you go there, and if you like the experience, son, you make that choice. But when it come down to it, obviously he was about to make that choice, but it was about the money, right? So you
yeah.
getting offered almost $10 million coming straight out of high school,
Yes.
good academic school, go and get
Yeah.
development. You at the University of Miami, South Beach, so you're going to get TV time, whatever you want to call it, publicity. Um, would like so it got to be about the bread. Now you know what I'm saying, and if it was about the money, then that's when the father should have stepped in my opinion, and just in my opinion, Shad, made sure that things were set up in the right way for his son, and he didn't. And now it's about that, but now it's like okay, now he's seeing it the way he should have been seeing it from the jump. You got to be developed. The bet one of the best places to go get developed that is Georgia. Georgia, they what 371 people in the NFL. We know some of the names. I don't got to go into it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's where
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. I wouldn't got a few of them.
Right. Of course. Of course. Of
yeah.
course.
Yeah. I would have got a few of them.
Of
So,
course. No doubt. No.
y'all, hey, off topic. Y'all Pennsylvania people, y'all in the Eagles, y'all, what y'all do? Y'all just go down to the Athens and like, all right, we're gonna get him, him, and him. But what about the other school? Nah, we ain't worried about that.
Nah,
We come to
because
get University of Georgia play.
see,
Cause hey,
I'm glad you brought that up, man.
hey, slight note, Justin Fields, he started at the University of Georgia.
Harry Fred, you from Georgia? Here,
You know,
Georgia boy.
yeah, yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
y'all got him, George Pickens, Darnell Washington. So
Yeah. Like,
y'all in
I'm
the
glad you brought up
Eagles.
my Steelers because Jeff Nadu. Hey, Jeff Nadu, you was on that JB show, and he was talking about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, now as a Steeler fan, I was thinking, all right, it might be time for a change. But then I really started hearing players talk about how great Mike Tomlin is as a head coach, right? I'm gonna keep it real. I've said it before. My Pittsburgh Steelers the past couple years have been an average football team. I don't know how in the hell we ended up in the playoffs. Do y'all hear me? Let me say that again. We won. I don't know how in the hell we ended up in the playoffs. One more time. I don't know how in the hell we ended up in the playoffs. We are an average football team. Mike Tomlin gets the best out of the players on the team. People want to play for him. Watch what he does with this roster. That's all I got to say about that. But I'm glad you brought up my Steelers though, because I had to say that to Mr. Jeff Nadu. Like, go ahead, continue, bro.
Oh no, that's all I had. But I will say this though. Um, two things stick out to me, right? Obviously, the SEC, from the perception standpoint, is the premier conference in college football. Most NFL draft picks, most national championships, at least since the year 2000, in terms from a conference standpoint. And the majority of the SEC schools, with the exception of now Texas, right? I think, yeah, the rest of them are all in. And then obviously Athens is right outside of Atlanta, but it's a 90-mile commute. But most of these are, in college towns. So from
Hmm.
a parent standpoint, you may look at it again from, getting back to Jaden Rashad. It's like, look, hey, maybe you need to go. You've been in the city,
Hmm.
so let's kind of get you into maybe this college town because again, like I say, a lot of players they want to go to the glitz and glamour life and they can't handle it.
Yeah,
And
I get it.
while I know as a Miami fan, I know our staff and stuff, they sell the city life and all this stuff like that. And a lot of kids, they fall in love with it. I was having a conversation with some guys on Twitter about that all day yesterday. Like, there's a lot of kids that fall in love with it.
I would have never
But
been a player.
there are some kids, some young men, I don't want to call them kids, shout out to Wholesome One. Some
Yeah.
young men, they need to go to a college town. They
Hmm.
need to stay on campus. They need
Hmm.
all the entertainment and activities need to
Hmm.
happen on campus so they can stay focused, right?
Right.
Because you in a major city, it's easy to lose focus. Especially like,
Very.
hey, look, I need to be studying film, but bro, the Heat playing tonight. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
basketball seasons coincide with college football. NFL, oh well, man, I might need to be studying, but shoot, man, I my NIL, I got a little extra money. I can go watch the Dolphins play. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Whereas in the college towns, it's like I don't have no choice but to do that. So
Right.
so
Exactly.
yeah, so.
Exactly.
But that's all I had
Exactly.
to say about that. But again, like I say, I love that chart though.
Thank you. Thank you. I dig it. And I had to bring that up for a couple people and everything, you know what I'm saying, out there so we can move on to the next topic. I think we killed that. Great job, bro. Great job. Great job. Appreciate